Build your inner fortress. The 6 questions you should never answer. Building a resilient inner fortress requires vigilance over the questions we allow others to ask. Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Seneca warned against letting external voices dictate our internal peace. Recognizing that many questions disguise ulterior motives is essential. They often seek to control rather than genuinely care. Have you ever felt exposed after answering a seemingly innocent question? These inquiries can sap our confidence and leave us vulnerable. It's crucial to guard our mental space, knowing we don't owe explanations about our choices or emotions. By recognizing and avoiding certain questions, we reclaim our power and maintain control over our narratives. In this guide, I will explore 6 questions that serve as warning signs, indicating it's time to redirect the conversation. As you reflect on your experiences, consider how these questions have impacted you. If you find these insights valuable, please subscribe for more practical wisdom. Like this post if it resonates, and share your thoughts in the comments below on which questions you've faced and how they've affected you. Together, let's fortify our minds. Let's begin. Question 1. Why are you so sensitive? Recognizing the intent behind such questions is vital. Often, the query comes from a desire to dismiss or belittle. People may not understand what it means to navigate life with heightened emotions. Rather than engaging in a defensive dialogue, I now stand my ground, affirming my right to feel without seeking others' approval. This shift not only protected my emotional landscape, but also encouraged personal growth. Implementing some strategies helped me turn my sensitivity into an asset. Journaling became an essential practice. It allowed me to process my feelings authentically and without interruption. Each entry was a step towards self-acceptance, enabling me to articulate my emotions more clearly. Moreover, surrounding myself with supportive individuals who valued emotional expression reinforced my strength. I learned to be selective about whom I let into my mental space. In our fast-paced world, emotional sensitivity often gets a bad rap. Many dismiss it as a weakness, overlooking the innate strength that comes from being in tune with our feelings. I remember a time when someone casually asked me, "Why are you so sensitive?" The question stung, and I felt compelled to defend my emotional responses. Instead of honoring my feelings, I found myself shrinking, questioning if there was something wrong with me. This reaction only reinforced negative beliefs about my emotional strength. Sensitivity is often seen as a flaw. However, it can also be a strength, allowing us to empathize deeply with others. We become more attuned to people's feelings and less likely to overlook others' struggles. As a beginner in emotional intelligence, I learned that acknowledging my sensitivity is crucial. It means caring deeply, both for myself and for those around me. Employing mindfulness techniques also proved transformative. A few moments of deep breathing or meditation helped me recalibrate my emotional state, allowing me to respond instead of react. When asked, "Why are you so sensitive?" I could honor my feelings without feeling the need to justify them. Emotional sensitivity has enriched my life in unexpected ways. It has facilitated deeper connections with others, fostering an environment of trust where vulnerability is welcomed. Instead of feeling burdened by my sensitivity, I now see it as a gift that enhances my understanding of the human experience. To wrap up, it's essential to recognize that emotional sensitivity is not an impediment, but a deeply rooted strength. It allows us to connect with ourselves and the world on a profound level. The next time you encounter the question, "Why are you so sensitive?" consider standing tall in your truth. Embrace your feelings and let go of the need for justification. Remember, your emotions matter, and your sensitivity is an asset that contributes to the beauty of life. If you've experienced similar situations, share your thoughts in the comments below. I appreciate every insight and story that helps us grow together. Don't forget to subscribe for more practical wisdom. Like this post if it resonates with you, and let's continue to build that inner fortress. Question 2. Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that can be a seemingly innocent question, yet it often carries an underlying tone of doubt. I remember vividly a moment when I shared an idea with enthusiastic conviction, and this simple question sent my confidence spiraling. Suddenly, I found myself questioning my judgment and knowledge. Instead of standing firm in my beliefs, I began to second-guess everything I had said. It's a common experience. We present our ideas with certainty, only to have them undermined by a well-placed question. The truth is, this question doesn't just express doubt, it can attempt to shift the power dynamic. Recognizing the intent behind such inquiries is crucial for maintaining control over our thoughts and opinions. When faced with the question, "Are you sure about that?" I learned to navigate my response strategically. Initially, I would dive headfirst into justification, explaining my reasoning in detail. However, I soon realized that this only weakened my stance. Instead of bolstering my confidence, I opened myself up to more scrutiny and doubt. What I needed was to reframe my response and shift the focus back on my own conviction. To tackle this challenge, I began to focus on preparation. Before engaging in discussions, I took time to clarify my thoughts and beliefs. By outlining my reasoning and gathering reliable information, I armed myself against unwarranted doubt. The more informed I felt, the less power questions like, "Are you sure about that?" had over my confidence. Another vital aspect was learning to set boundaries. I recognized that not every question required justification. Sometimes it's appropriate to respond with confidence instead of an explanation. When asked, "Are you sure about that?" I began to affirm my perspective calmly and assertively. This response allowed me to reclaim my power, shifting the narrative back to my beliefs rather than falling victim to external questioning. But my journey didn't stop there. Reflecting on the context of why someone might ask if I'm sure about something led me to a new level of understanding. Often, the people who posed this question hadn't done the research or didn't fully grasp the subject matter. Their uncertainties were no longer my burden to carry. I directed my focus on constructive dialogue. Instead of defending, I started to engage by inviting conversations that fostered mutual understanding. As I navigated this landscape, I discovered the importance of maintaining an open mind. Everyone is entitled to an opinion, and it's essential to listen even if we disagree. Yet there's a fine line between engaging thoughtfully and allowing others to undermine us. The key is fostering respectful conversations while maintaining our confidence. In conclusion, the question, "Are you sure about that?" can be a trigger for doubt, but it doesn't have to be. By preparing adequately, affirming our beliefs with confidence, and fostering respectful dialogues, we reclaim our power to stand firm in our convictions. The next time you face this question, remember your knowledge and beliefs are valid. Stand tall in your truth and engage thoughtfully, allowing your inner fortress to protect you from unwarranted doubt. Question 3. Why did you do that? This seemingly simple question can weaponize doubt and self-criticism before you even realize it. I recall a moment when I was excitedly sharing a decision I made, only for someone to throw that question at me like a curveball. In an instant, my confidence began to unravel. Instead of standing proudly in my choice, I felt the urge to justify myself, and that led me into a spiral of over-explanation and self-doubt. I needed to make a change. The first step was understanding that I shouldn't feel obligated to explain my actions unless I genuinely wanted to share. Just because someone asks, "Why did you do that?" doesn't mean they have the right to hear my reasoning. This realization prompted me to establish personal boundaries. I became selective about what I chose to share, knowing that my decisions are often aligned with my values and goals. When faced with inquiries like this, we often feel compelled to dissect our actions as if they need external validation. However, this is where we must tread carefully. The intent behind such inquiries is often not genuine curiosity. Rather, it can stem from a desire to control or criticize.
Repeatedly confronting this kind of questioning can chip away at our self-esteem and tear down the very foundation of our inner fortress. Initially, I would try to analyze and justify my decision to the person asking, convinced that if I provided enough detail, they would understand. Yet this approach only demonstrated my vulnerability. Reflecting on this experience, I recognized that by attempting to explain myself, I was inadvertently handing over control of my thoughts and choices to someone else. It made me question if I was indeed making the right decisions, or if I was merely trying to appease others. Importantly, I learned to differentiate between constructive feedback and questioning intent. When someone asks, "Why did you do that?" with genuine curiosity or concern, it opens a door for meaningful conversation. This distinction is critical. Honest inquiries can lead to insightful discussions that help me grow. But if the question arises from a place of critique, I now know I can respectfully decline to engage deeply.
Ultimately, this journey has led to discovering that the question, "Why did you do that?" should be taken with a grain of salt. It's crucial to discern the motivation behind the question and decide whether it's worth answering. Empowering ourselves with this knowledge is key to maintaining control over our narratives and protecting our inner fortress. Question 4. What's holding you back? The question, "What's holding you back?" often feels like an invitation to introspection, but it can reveal more about the person asking than about us. I remember where I was when I first faced this question. It was during a casual conversation among friends. When someone threw this out, I felt an urge to delve deep into my insecurities, thinking that sharing would somehow provide clarity. However, exposing my vulnerabilities only amplified the weight of doubt on my shoulders. This inquiry can sometimes appear genuine, but it often masks a hidden motive. Too often, it serves as an opening for criticism rather than conversation. It implies that there's a specific obstacle obstructing my path, which can lead to unnecessary self-doubt and scrutiny. Instead of using it as a launchpad for self-improvement, I realized I was granting others control over my internal landscape, allowing them to dictate the terms of my confidence. Initially, I responded to this question by trying to articulate my limitations and fears. I believed that being truthful about my struggles could foster understanding, but I quickly discovered that such honesty often led to a feeling of vulnerability instead of empowerment. I learned to rethink this approach. Why should I divulge my weaknesses to those who might not genuinely care about my growth? When faced with this question today, my response aligns with my values and goals. Instead of delving into potential barriers, I now focus on my plans and aspirations. I might reply with something like, "I'm currently exploring my options and am excited about the direction I'm heading." This mindset not only asserts my confidence, but also challenges the narrative that I need to justify my decisions. I embraced practices that reminded me of my capabilities, such as positive affirmations and visualizations. Repeating statements like, "I am capable of overcoming challenges," fostered self-belief and reinforced my commitment to personal growth. When I reflected on my journey, I could realize that instead of dwelling on what was holding me back, I could highlight what was propelling me forward. It also became important to create a support system for myself. Surrounding myself with friends and mentors who uplifted and encouraged me helped solidify my growth mindset. Engaging with those who believed in my potential shifted my perspective on obstacles. I learned that by focusing on what I could control and what I was actively doing, I could dismiss inquiries like, "What's holding you back?" with confidence. Ultimately, the question, "What's holding you back?" can serve as a double-edged sword. It's essential to recognize its potential for both self-realization and manipulation. Learning to focus on my strengths rather than my limitations has significantly fortified my inner landscape. As you reflect on your experiences, I encourage you to think about how you respond when faced with this question. Question 5. Could I be happier? Could I be happier? This question can seem innocent on the surface, but beneath it lies a labyrinth of cultural pressures and unhealthy comparisons. I recall a moment when I found myself mired in self-doubt, scrolling through social media and seeing perfect pictures of others thriving. It was during this vulnerable time that a friend casually asked, "Could you be happier?" At that moment, rather than appreciating my unique journey, I felt compelled to critique every aspect of my life. This line of questioning can trigger a cycle of discontent, making us fixate on what others have rather than appreciating what we possess. It's tempting to imagine that happiness is a destination rather than a journey, and this question capitalizes on that misconception. When I began to dissect my happiness against someone else's standards, I realized that I was trading joy for a futile comparison game. Initially, I'd succumb to this question, allowing it to steer my thoughts toward the negatives in my life, but it only opened deep wells of dissatisfaction. The more I sought to answer it, the more I felt myself spiraling into an endless pursuit of external validation. It dawned on me that instead of drawing wisdom from reflection, I was allowing this question to push me into a realm of uncertainty and envy. To combat this unhealthy cycle, I turned to gratitude as a powerful tool for cultivating contentment. By keeping a gratitude journal where I noted down 3 things I was thankful for each day, I shifted my focus from a scarcity mindset to one rich in abundance. Practicing gratitude not only reminded me of the positive aspects of my life, but also empowered me to recognize the beauty in my journey without debasing it against anyone else's life. Furthermore, I began to redefine my understanding of happiness. It became clear that happiness isn't a one-size-fits-all concept. I learned to embrace the fact that it can coexist with challenges and struggles. Happiness is not the absence of hardship, but the ability to find joy and meaning amid life's complexities. By reframing my expectations and understanding of happiness, the question of could I be happier lost its power over me. I also started to engage in meaningful conversations with those I trusted most. Sharing my struggles and fears with close friends allowed me to explore what truly brought me joy and satisfaction. The valuable discussions served as points of reflection, guiding me toward genuine happiness that aligned with my unique values rather than mere societal expectations. Moreover, I made a conscious effort to create moments of joy each day. Whether diving into hobbies I loved or spending time in nature, these actions helped me nurture a profound sense of happiness in the now, free from future anxiety. So rather than falling into the trap of questioning my happiness, I learned to live mindfully and appreciate the present. In conclusion, the question, could I be happier, can easily send us into a whirlpool of comparison and self-criticism. However, by turning to gratitude, redefining happiness, fostering meaningful relationships, and creating joyful moments, we can reclaim our narrative and forge a fulfilling life based on our terms. As you continue on your journey, remember that happiness is deeply personal. Instead of allowing societal standards to dictate how you feel, focus on what truly resonates with you. If you've reflected on this question in your own life, share your thoughts in the comments below. Your insights can contribute to our collective understanding. Question 6. What's the point? What's the point? This question, often laced with cynicism, can intrude upon our aspirations and undermine our motivations. I vividly remember grappling with this sentiment during a particularly challenging phase of my life. I had poured time and energy into a project that later faltered, leaving me contemplating whether any of it had been worth it. A friend asked, "What's the point?" This inquiry pierced through my self-doubt and sent me spiraling into a void of existential questioning. Such a question can disassemble even the most resolute convictions and force us to grapple with meaning and purpose. In these moments, it's easy to lose sight of the core reasons we pursue our goals. The underlying implications of the question often suggest futility, leading us to question the validity of our efforts. Initially, I found myself drawn to this nihilistic perspective, creating more uncertainty around my passions and desires. Rather than wallowing in despair, I confronted this challenge head-on. I recognized that to combat feelings of doubt and purposelessness, I needed to reconnect with my why.
Understanding the reasons behind my actions became paramount. I started meditating on what the point truly meant, contemplating my values, passions, and aspirations. My journey led me to document my why in a dedicated journal. I recounted why I took on specific projects and what impact I hoped to achieve. Revisiting these reflections provided clarity and reaffirmed the value of my endeavors. Additionally, I turned to role models and mentors who inspired me. Engaging with their stories, I found common ground. Many had faced obstacles that made them question their purpose, yet they persevered. Learning about their journeys illuminated the reality that struggles are often part of achieving meaningful goals. Connecting with their experiences helped cultivate resilience, reminding me that it's normal to grapple with life's uncertainties. Cultivating a sense of purpose is an ongoing journey, and the seemingly simple question of what's the point ultimately invites us to define that purpose more clearly. For me, focusing on small day-to-day actions that align with my values created momentum, the little wins that build into something significant over time. I began to appreciate every step as valuable, not just the finish line. Moreover, surrounding myself with those who encouraged open dialogue became crucial. I discovered that sharing my feelings of doubt often unveiled similar struggles among my friends and peers. These conversations bred camaraderie and reminded me that I am not alone in seeking meaning in life. With each shared experience, I came to realize that our journeys, filled with purpose and even confusion, woven together, create a beautiful tapestry of the human experience. In summary, the question, "What's the point?" can evoke profound uncertainty, but it also serves as an opportunity for reevaluation. By reconnecting with our values,
Engaging with inspiring stories, and fostering open conversations about our struggles, we can cultivate a meaningful existence. When faced with this question, remind yourself that your unique journey holds intrinsic value. Reflect on your purpose, and don't shy away from sharing your thoughts in the comments. Your experiences can enrich our shared exploration of meaning. Finally, ultimately, the questions we encounter in life can deeply impact our thoughts and feelings. Recognizing which questions to avoid can help us build a resilient inner fortress. Embrace your values and beliefs and reclaim your power when facing questioning. As you reflect on these insights, I encourage you to share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's engage in this journey together. Don't forget to subscribe for more practical wisdom, and if you found this valuable, please like the post to help others join our community. Together, we can fortify our minds and support one another on this incredible journey of growth.